Now, I want to call on this stage our next speaker. It's going to be Mikalai Alimenkou. He's founder and independent consultant at XP Injection. Hi, Mikalai.
Hi, Max. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was a quarter, the half of our conference today. And
Seems you have not an easy
hope
day,
you.
yeah?
Yeah, it's busy day today. And I don't know, have you seen our previous speakers? But for all of you, we provide such a copilot, an avatar that's gonna be help you today. Oh, you also have a team, gangster team, as I see from your
Amazing.
side. Yeah, it was built based on your answers that you previously provide to us via Google Form that we share with you. And so, can you tell us, please, who are they? Are who will help you today with your
It's
presentation?
a Mr. Panda and Mr. Penguin.
Okay, two
and
misters.
and I believe they're heroes from some thriller.
Okay. And do they actually an admins of your Telegram channel XP Injection?
Probably I will think about it. So
And do they really good at Java?
definitely, definitely.
No, they. And what do you think about their superpowers?
Superpowers. It seems that this
Yeah.
penguin is quite good at eating stuff because he's not he's out of suit. So you see, he's a little bit bigger than Panda. So probably this is his
Okay.
primary skill. And Panda definitely is like protector.
Okay, that's great. So, please, guys, feel free to ask Mikolai and his team of Mr. Panda and Mr. Penguin about anything in Slido. Yeah, join his Telegram channel, XP Injection. We will provide a link near this video and its YouTube channel. And please welcome Mikolai with Tech Talk about ChatGPT meets Java, a Java developer's secret to accelerate coding. Yeah, it would be really interesting to hear your ideas about such a powerful thing at 2023. Please go
Great.
ahead.
Then let's start. Uh, Let me move this tab away and I will share my screen. So here we are. And just let me know if you see my screen.
I think the answers could be in the chat, but currently,
At least I see it in the in my video. Okay, let's start. And I would like to start with some short introduction about my talk. So what was the motivation around this talk? I'm strongly believer in the generative AI and ChatGPT, and I was one of the first batch of users and immediately started to get some benefits in my work. So I'm not talking about how to use generative AI in the products. It's a separate direction, and I believe there are many interesting things there. So I'm talking about my job and my stuff that I'm doing daily, and I help my colleagues and clients to achieve. And I started to use it, and quickly I understood that part of my boring task could be automated, and some new ideas can come from the ChatGPT. So I saw this benefit, but I still saw a lot of resistance from other developers. And this resistance was formulated like, for example, I can do the same job without ChatGPT. So I believe that this is not a question about if you can do the same job or you can't do the same job. It's about how accurate and how quick and how probably precise this job could be done. And I believe that in every job we have some pleasant moment, joy, or something, yeah, that attractive for us in this job. And there are some boring parts and boilerplate parts where we need to do this because without these parts our job will not be done. And one more resistance formulated like I don't get meaningful results from ChatGPT. And this is my point, because many people don't understand what tools they have in hands, and they don't understand how to use it properly. And this is a topic that I would like to share and try to explain today in my talk. Again, ChatGPT doesn't know subject as good as I do. And probably you are right in some places, because ChatGPT is a very generic tool. I don't trust ChatGPT answers, okay, because there is not such thing like truth in the internet, yeah, and you could achieve some results, check these results, and say, okay, I am done. So to work against this resistance, I started to share my positive experience in some workshops in different companies, and then this experience grew, and I decided to organize a training. And this training started again from 9 hours, and at the moment this training is 12 hours, and it's growing from time to time. And it seems it's too much material, and I decided to prepare a talk to share some part of these materials with audience, with broader audience. And I'm not a big fan of online conferences, because you sit in your room, you speak in your screen, and you don't see any feedback from audience, and you probably drive in a car or even taking a shower and listen for my talk. I'm talking this not only about to say that, oh my God, I am so poor, because you need to find better place right now, and you have small time to do this, because I will show a lot of examples and a lot of data that will not be good at your screen of your mobile phone, and probably you will not get the most benefit of my talk. So let's go to the next part, and let's say a couple of words about myself. So my name is Mikalai Alimenkou. I'm a happy father, and I had a long career in software engineering. Started from Java developer, then became a Java tech lead, then engineering manager, delivery manager, and my career passed through many interesting small startups and big enterprise companies. And more than 7 years ago, I started full-time consulting, and we founded consulting center XP Injection, so that's why you could find myself in the internet as XP Injection, for example, in Twitter. And I focus now on the consulting and trainings in the following areas like Java, Spring Boot, Kubernetes, quality assurance, and so on and so on. And during my consulting practice, I didn't stop learn new things, and I didn't stop practicing coding. That's why I help to write production code to some of my clients, and I train the engineers to write production code, and that's why I need to be effective in it, and I need to share my experience and practice, and these things must be like cutting edge of technology, yeah? not outdated, not legacy. And in previous life, before the COVID started and then war in Ukraine, I was a founder and organizer of 3 amazing international conferences with 10 years history in Ukraine. It's GEConf, it's conference for Java developers, Selenium Camp, it's conference for test automation, and XP Days, it's a conference about XP Days for, of course, Ukraine. It's a conference about engineering practices and DevOps culture. And I believe and hope that we will return to these conferences after the war will be ended. So, what is the agenda of today's talk? So we will cover following topics. First of all, we will try to understand, and I believe this is the most important part of my talk. We will try to understand what we have in hands. So what are specifics of ChatGPT, and how we need to adapt and how we need to use it, and to override the specifics. And then I will demonstrate several levels of usage, starting from level 0, we are IT guys, so everything is starting from 0 and going through 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, so we will have 3 levels, and for a couple of them I have concrete examples, and one level, level 3, will be like your homework, and you could try it because we have some good material in this area, but I cannot share it because of NDA right now, and probably I will prepare some talk. It will be a good idea for the next talk, and then we will summarize what we had today in the talk. So let's start from the first topic and what we have. Yeah, we have ChatGPT. What is it? It's not an introductory talk. I will not tell you about the basics of LLMs and so on. So that's why let's try to see some practical sides of ChatGPT. So first of all, we need to understand that ChatGPT is trying to mimic some biology. So it has some LLM inside, and LLM is a core of ChatGPT, and LLM, it's a set of neural networks that try to emulate how biology works in our mind. And you all know, just a quick introduction, you all know how ChatGPT works algorithmically. So you have some input prompt, you pass this input prompt to ChatGPT, and then you have, as a result, some probabilities of the next token. And according to these probabilities, ChatGPT choose which token to take to the output. And if this is a stop token, then you have end result and you have output on the screen. And if not, this token is taken, appended to the input prompt, and you have new prompt, and this process repeats. And internally, it looks a little bit more complicated. Yeah, you have your text prompt. Everything starts from the text. Or, for example, now ChatGPT supports files, and probably it will support naturally voice and other stuff. Yeah, but you provide your data, let's name it data. This data is passed through embedding process and then passed to these neural networks. Yeah, and the core of it is a multi-head attention, where most of the magic is happening. Yeah, so we try to, at this stage, we try to understand what is the initial prompt, what is it about, and how to pass it through all layers and give some output. And output is a set of tokens with these probabilities. You see, this is not an easy stuff, and if we will go a little bit deeper, then we will see that input text is tokenized just to be able to transform it to digital word. Then we will have additional, so we will have vector from this tokenization. I will show you a little bit later in the tokenizer how it happens. And then we have additional process is embedding, where we transform this vector into the matrix, and then this matrix passed through the attention layers and so on and so on. What does it mean for us? Why I'm telling you this? Yeah, because it has very interesting consequences for us as a practitioners. Yeah, because it's interesting, but we are not a data scientist. So the first of all, results of work of ChatGPT are unpredictable. So you could not predict what will be the result. This is very interesting because we used to be in the very determined world where you say, okay, I understand that inside probably there are some ifs, and if this ifs works, then we go there. If this if doesn't work, we go in the opposite direction. Yeah, and here situation is completely different. So we really don't know what will be the result, and the result is really unpredictable. And it means for us, and probably for some people who don't believe in generative AI and not AI fan, probably this is supporting image. It means it's a very simple principle: garbage in, garbage out. So if your initial prompt is just some abstract text, for example, you didn't specify what you want concretely, you will have the same level of results. So as you see here, yeah, on this image. This is very, very important factor for us because we need to start formulating our tasks more concrete than we think in our head. This is not an easy skill, yeah, because of LLMs and because how it works. The second important consequence is it's very hard to explain why one technique works better than other. And there is some investigation on some tests that this particular technique could bring more profit to some tests, data tests. And this technique probably could be better in this, for example, kind of task. But it's hard to explain why. It's impossible to explain why it's better. Yeah, you just run tests and understand, okay, it provides you better results. But probably there is other techniques that even better than this one, yeah, and it's not obvious. And what does it mean for us, for practitioners? It means that you will not stop experimenting, and for your particular task, you could find techniques that works for you much better than something that you see on the internet, or, for example, listening to my talk. The next one is hallucination and fantasies. Most of you already know what is hallucination, because it's a very famous part of the ChatGPT, and almost everybody saying that, oh my god, ChatGPT has hallucinations. I would like to show you what is this fantasies. I name them fantasies, so it's not some official naming. But let me show you one concrete example, very quick example. Imagine that I would like to solve the following task. I want to split a list of person entities, so I have some person entities, into batches of configurable size and store each batch with Spring data. So I already said what technology I would like to use. Person repository. And I ask ChatGPT to write such method in Java 17. Yeah, so it's very, very, very basic prompt. So it's direct instruction, and this is the context. So very, very simple prompt. What I get as an output, you see, as an output, I get some comments, some explanation, and what I got here. So I see, for some reason, person service, and for some reason I see service annotation on it. Yeah. I didn't ask for it, but it's still here. For example, I have validation, you see? So I see validation of my persons list and batch size. And as you see, this validation is quite strange, because this validation checks only for null, for example, not for empty persons. But did I ask initially for this validation? No, it's a fantasy. It means that ChatGPT solved my initial problem, and core of this solution is here. This is it. And the rest of the code, because I didn't constrain it don't provide this fantasies, the rest of the code, the rest of the comments, the rest of the explanations are fantasies. So they could present or they could not present, and both options are possible, because we don't control it with our very simple prompt. I will just quickly show you the next prompt, completely the same, but it will have another fantasies. So in the previous prompt, we had, for example, after-wired annotation for person repository. Here we have constructor after-wiring. Yeah? Or for example, here we don't have any validation, because it's fantasies. It could present or not present. But as a bonus, as a fantasy, at the end we have entity, but we didn't ask for entity, and probably we have entity already, yeah? And person repository. It's a fantasy. And people who don't understand this, they try to claim, oh my god, it's unusual, unusable, because I take this code, and this code I could not just copy and paste. It's just fantasies. To go beyond these fantasies, we need to somehow constrain ChatGPT. And we will return to this a little bit later. The next important factor is full conversation is tokenized and used as a context. It means that not only your first prompt is tokenized and passed through this process that we already described. No, or the whole conversation. And this means that whole output, and for each question, for each prompt, is taken into account. And it means that ChatGPT could lose focus or forget something. Why it happens? Because ChatGPT works around some LLMs models, and I will show you what models exist at the moment. Nobody has official information what is the model inside of ChatGPT, because the main product of OpenAI is the API. So imagine that you have a car factory, yeah, you have car manufacturers, and imagine that the main product of car manufacturer is not the cars, but instead, for example, bumpers and or engines, yeah, it depends. And just to demonstrate how good the engines are, they build some car. This car will be simple because they don't want to make money from this car, yeah. But this car must show you and demonstrate you the power of this engine. This is the same story, yeah. So you see how many models OpenAI have, and you see context window, and context window is your limit. So it means that, for example, before they announced ChatGPT Turbo, it was known from some publics that underneath it used 8K, yeah, and this is the limit. I mean, when you choose GPT-4. If you choose GPT-3, it was 4K. And it means that not so much information can be fit in this context. And if your context is full, then some process of summarization is happening inside, and ChatGPT is starting to forget something. Yeah? And you need to be careful with it. What does it mean for us? That we need to remember it, this fact, and trying to work with it. And if you're using, for example, free to use ChatGPT version 3.5, you need to be very careful. The next one is very interesting because ChatGPT and all models are trained on some specific data set. Some specific data set, you don't know what is this data set, it's a not open data set. And officially, again, we could find some like draft information about this data set, and you see here is Common Crawl, it's a public data set, and it's like 60% or in training mix. As the rest is books, Wikipedia, web text too. What does it mean for us? So if I'm a Java developer and I would like to ask questions about particular technology, am I sure that my technology is one of these data sets? I mean, description of my technology, for example, documentation or books or something, yeah? How I could be sure? And sometimes it's not the fact. And you go and ask questions about something and you don't give proper answers, not because this is impossible, because data is not there. And practical consequences from this, so ChatGPT can miss some knowledge about some topics, and especially it's funny because when you try to find something, some answers on questions about Jira, you always have garbage from the internet. And if you have a garbage from the internet, the same garbage come to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT start to be trained on this garbage, and results is garbage. It's very interesting because Venkat posted a joke in the Twitter about this. So we as a human beings started to write a code, and we wrote a bad code, and then AI trained on this bad code, and now we claim that code from AI is also bad. So this is the karma. Also, ChatGPT can be very biased. So, for example, if in this data set they only know about, for example, Spring Boot, and they don't know about any other frameworks, they could say, I mean, ChatGPT could provide you with answers that Spring Boot is the best framework for your task, because they even don't know about other framework, because it's not in the data set. So you need to be very careful, especially if you're not sure that your topic is wide. If your topic is narrow, you are at risk. The next part is very interesting. It has some default configuration managed by OpenAI. What I mean by configuration? So if you go to LLM parameters, and they're available in the internet, and I will show you how it works with other models from OpenAI, you see that there are a couple of parameters that you could configure in your model usage. And we are interested in temperature and top P. What does it mean, temperature? Temperature controls the degree of randomness in responses. It means that if temperature is low, then model will choose highly probable word. So it means that when all potential tokens are ordered by probability, 0 means that model will choose the highly probable word. So it's a top. Yeah, it will be more predictable. Medium, it's a medium, and high temperature, for example 2, the model may generate more diverse and less predictable outcomes, so it could be many fantasies. Top P is very similar, and GPT, it means that when you have some tokens with some probabilities, the top P is a number that is used as a threshold when you start summing all probabilities to understand from how many tokens you need to choose. And if top P will be low, then it means that we again will have narrow selection of words. If it will be greater, closer to 1, in this case we will have wider selection of words. And why it's so important? Because it seems that for different use cases, temperature and top P must be different. And for example, for code generation, it is recommended to have temperature is 0.2 and top P is 0.1. Why? Because we would like to have it's more predictable and deterministic and focused on what we are going to have, because we don't have fantasies. Less fantasies, more reliable code. For example, if I'm a creative writer, I would like to have creativity from ChatGPT, and to generate creative and diverse text, I need to use this temperature 0.7 or 0.8. Yeah, you understand. And there are many other cases that you would like to use ChatGPT for. And what is interesting, ChatGPT is generic tool, generic demo, yeah, of what engines OpenAI has inside. And it means that you could not configure it. And if you go to Playground, Playground is the place where you could pay for the API access, and you could choose some model, some concrete model, for example, GPT-4, yeah, or GPT Turbo, and then you could say, okay, temperature must be 1, or temperature must be 2, or temperature must be 0.2, yeah, because I'm going to use this API for coding. And the same for top P, yeah, I could change it and say, okay, top P will be 0.1 because I would like to have it more predictable. And sometimes you also use additional parameters like stop sequences, yeah, and you could do everything in API, but you could not do it in ChatGPT, because in ChatGPT, if you ask ChatGPT itself about parameters, ChatGPT could say, okay, temperature is good, top P is good, but these settings could not be managed by you, and these parameters are set and optimized by OpenAI. And you see these beautiful words to balance coherence, relevance, and variety in responses. Variety in responses is a general model, so don't expect that you could just manipulate it to solve your concrete task. What does it mean for us? So if you would like to have better results, more reliable results, and it's important for us because we would like to automate, for example, part of our job and make it like very predictable, probably we need to switch to API and play with parameters, find good parameters for our concrete task, and then apply these parameters and be happy. Okay, let's return to consequences and summarize them. It means that it's not configurable for a particular case. Another interesting part of the story is that ChatGPT is ChatGPT. It means that the GPT is tuned for chat conversation. And this tuning is done through this not a simple process. Yeah? So you have an initial model, and then you collect some demonstration data, not we, but some dedicated people. They collect demonstration data and train supervised policy. It means it's dedicated model, yeah, it's supervised policy. And labelers demonstrate the desired output behavior, so it's manual stuff. So we take and build this data set focused on specific chart conversation. What is a chart conversation? We as a human beings like to have chart conversations in specific format. For example, we would like to have information with more explanation, not just an answer. Yeah, we would like to say, okay, this is the answer because this, and this. Sometimes we would like to have a plan. And because not everybody from us are quite smart, and at the same time scientists decided and checked some tests that using approach where we try to explain the task step by step before doing this task provides better results on the average, not for concrete use case, but on average. It means that it's good technique for conversation. And they train for this, yeah? So that's why many times you will input something in ChatGPT and say, okay, let's do this, and then do this, and then result is this, yeah? And we as a human beings say, wow, amazing, yeah, this is a chat optimization. And then they collect comparison data, train a reward model. They have this reward model, you see one model, second model, and then they have a cycle. It's optimization policy, PPO. And then picture is not so easy like it was before. Yeah, you see, this is initial language model, this is tuned language model, this is reward model, and this is the algorithm that they use to merge these results. And come on, it's even less predictable than we thought initially. Yeah? It means that initially I was not able to predict what will be the result. Now it's completely unpredictable. It means that we need to be more concrete in our questions and more concrete in our instructions. Okay, let's return what we could expect as a consequence. As a consequence, we could expect that it can be very noisy and boilerplate. By noisy, I mean that a lot of explanations, comments, and so on. By boilerplate, what you don't need. It's a part of the same fantasies. Yeah, you don't need, for example, step-by-step instructions, but you will have them here because it's a part of this training. The next one is a language question. So it support initially from the box support multiple languages, but you need to understand that most training data is in English. And what does it mean? It means that results may be much worse for other languages than English. There is no such thing as translation. So, for example, let's go to the where is it? Oh, Tokenizer. It's another tool in the OpenAI platform, and this tool is needed to understand what are the tokens that are passed to the first step, I mean embeddings. And you see this is a vector. So as a result, we have two pieces of text, and as a result, you have a vector, and this vector is passed to the all this process that we described before. And you see that for example, English language, we have like bigger tokens, yeah, and for Ukrainian language, we have very small tokens, yeah. You see, 2 letters. And for us, it means both that context will be used much quicker. This is the first consequence. And the second consequence is if most of data is not in Ukrainian, probably much less information will be there about in Ukraine about the same topic in Ukrainian language. And it means for us that results will be worse. So please use English. And English will bring you better results. And the last one, it was clear from our previous, but I need to say it one more time. It's created initially for generic usage because OpenAI wants us to start using it for different things and promote this stuff. Yeah, to say, okay, this is my crazy idea. I would use ChatGPT for this, and then they will make money from payment subscriptions, but for people who do one prompt at a time, because usually if you use it like professionally the whole day, it's minus for the budget of OpenAI because the cost is not covered. But it's very, very funny. But if you use once per week, once per day, it's completely okay, and you promote it, so more and more people starting to use it. And what does it mean for us? That this is not a specific tool. It doesn't have any features or modes for concrete tasks. For example, there is no such thing like copy code and go to the IDE. Yeah? So it's always chat. generic chat, and you need to go around it. Yeah, for example, many people in the training ask me, can I store this code into the file system from the ChatGPT? No, because this is not for coding. Yeah, there is no such thing like store this code. There is a workaround. You could ask ChatGPT to go through the Python code to prepare this Java code for you as a files, but it's again very long workaround. I don't believe you would like to go this way. So this is about the ChatGPT itself and specifics of ChatGPT. Now let's go to the next part. The next part is the usage levels. So you see, from my perspective, we have 4 levels of usage. The level 0, it works in the following way. So you drive and do the whole work. So if it's about work, yeah, if it's about your for example, task like find me good wine that is similar to this wine, it's also kind of task, but it's not work. Yeah, but you drive everything, so everything is in your hands, and ChatGPT provides you only with additional data. So ChatGPT generates some data, provides you with this data, and then you go and do your task. So for examples, it's everyday tasks. It's a Google replacement. So for example, you would like to find some information in the internet, but this information through the Google is not so structured and you could not continue digging into it. So you decide, okay, ChatGPT works much better. Yeah, and current cutoff is April 23 as far as I remember, and it's good enough. Yeah, so only 6 months behind current day. And investigations. So for example, in the work you have some problem and you say, okay, I have stack trace or something, I will go and try to understand what could be potential reason of this problem, and then with this information you return to your problem and try to go the next step. So it's only ChatGPT is your assistant providing you with data. Level 1 means that you still drive, but ChatGPT resolves simple task for you. So it means that you go to the next step and you understand that this is boring task, I don't want to do this, please ask ChatGPT to do this, and ChatGPT just make the whole simple task for you. For example, generate function or method or DTO or unit test or test data or some script or something. Yeah, but you still drive. So everything is in your hands, in your head, and ChatGPT has no idea what is going on, what is your task. So only about some specific small parts that you would like to delegate. The second level means that you drive, but with ChatGPT assistant. So you share your initial task, and ChatGPT resolves most of subtasks for you. So you share initial task like development task. I would like to implement, for example, endpoint, or I would like to deploy my service somewhere, or I need to write a documentation for this I don't know, feature, yeah, and so on. And you start as a task with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is your assistant, and then you break this. You break this big task into smaller pieces with ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT implement every part for you, and you just aggregate results because ChatGPT is a generic tool. There is no such thing like aggregation in ChatGPT, and you build your stuff. Yeah, and probably this is the most advanced level that you could get with ChatGPT. And level 3, this is the next big thing that we would like to have. Amazing opportunity for you. Yeah, you just provide a task, and some AI actors just communicate and resolve it. Could you imagine it? So for example, you just say, okay, this is my Jira task, and I wrote all details there. And one actor get information from the Jira task, and then another actor start to build a test plan. Another actor build a test design. For example, tech design, and then another actor executes code, writes code, write test, execute test, and at the end you have the whole task resolved, marked. All merge requests are prepared and put to, for example, GitLab or GitHub, and the task is marked as okay, it is done. It looks like a fantastic, yeah, but it's almost there. So we experiment with one of my clients, and results are very promising. So it means that you could build your development team, data analysis team, any other team that you would like to have, and you could build different actors communicating between each other. So this is the point when it will work for full power. This is the point where we could lose our jobs potentially. Yeah? But I believe that if you have something more than just coding skills in your head, you will not lose your job. Okay, let's go to examples, because I promised you a lot of examples. Level 0. Level 0 is a very, very, very basic level. I believe that everybody could at least use level 0. So if you have some information, or you have some simple task from day-to-day job you need to solve, it's very easy to use ChatGPT. In this example, we are going to generate plant UML sequence diagram, because everybody hates doing proper sequence diagrams, and the goal is the following. So we have a document e-signing process, so signing process with electronic signature in the web application, and we would like to discuss this task with the team, understand its better, and have a part of technical documentation. So let's go to ChatGPT and try to do it. It's a very, very simple and basic stuff. So where is my example? Here you are. My first question is very simple, like this is instruction, and instruction is very simple and straightforward, like generate detailed step-by-step workflow of document signing with an electronic signature in a web application. Steps should be organized in sequential order. So why I don't go straight forward to the sequence diagram? Because I don't understand what is the process. And this is a very basic technique when you pre-generate some additional knowledge in ChatGPT, and then based on this knowledge you resolve your final task. So here I would like to have step-by-step process, verify this process, check that this process looks good from my perspective, and only then go to the next step and say, okay, now I'm ready for generation of plant UML diagram. And here are my requirements. So user who signs a document has a private key bundle and password. Document is generated by the server, very simple. Public certificate could be taken from bundle or retrieved from some certificate authority. And on the server side, signature has to be verified. Definitely, yeah, it's a verification step, and store it together. Why I have such detailed requirements? Because if I will try without these requirements, I will have fantasies. Yeah, because in some, for example, document that was a part of the training materials, it was described that signature may be validated on the client side, and there is no server validation or some other stuff. Yeah, you need to be concrete. You have concrete requirements. You need to have concrete process, and I have concrete step-by-step process. User login authentication. It's a fantasy, because I didn't ask for it. Yeah, you see. Document generation retrieval. Okay, private key access with the password. You see, the user enters password, unlock private key. So I have all these tiny details in the process. And I see that it missed some step. So I could change the step before my diagram is ready. Because when I see this process, it's much more easier to check this process and make these fixes. I add a step with additional request to certificate authority as a verification, and additional step with timestamp retrieval. And I see that I need to move one of the components as a proxy for this request to certificate authority. And to have a simple diagram with short roles, I propose names for the roles. This is like an optional step to be concrete about format. And I have a revised version of my step-by-step process. And finally, this is my final instruction: create plant UML sequence diagram for this process. And I don't like this point about audit and compliance. So please don't generate audit and compliance here. And I have a plant UML diagram. Let's see how it looks like. I just took plain text as an online editor for plant UML and the visualization tool, and I see my sequence diagram. You see, it's beautiful. So it's even have alternation flow. You see, alternative flow, and this alternative flow is marked as alt. Oh my God! And all these arrows are supported by additional text comment like request document, return document. You never do it in the real in the real world. Or for example, sign document, transmit signed document. Yeah, you will never do this in the real life. And we have good documentation. So it's very simple stuff, and I believe that you could build it for many cases, from requirements, from business requirements, from many other sources. Let's go ahead. The next example. The next example is DB unit dataset generation. So it's a level 1. It's a level 1. I would like to have a reusable assistant for the typical development task. So if I create a test for my database layer or test for API, and I would like to have a test data set, I would like to have it in the DB unit format. And I would like to say, okay, this is my database tables, and please provide me with this data set. And we will use a modern feature of ChatGPT. Finally, they have this feature, because initially the only option to create something reusable in the ChatGPT was custom instructions. And custom instructions is like very based. What do you do for work? Or for example, here is what is your expected behavior or custom instructions for ChatGPT. But what is the problem here? Because usually when I use these instructions, it means that I do repeatable tasks. All my tasks will have the same instructions. I don't want this model. Yeah? And finally, they came with another model, a model of GPTs. So now I could have different GPTs. What is GPTs? Let's open one of them. Edit. UI is just amazing. So let's open one and see what is inside. So this is a very like generic builder with help of ChatGPT. So GPT builder. But I'm like experienced user, so I will go straight forward to the configuration. And here's the name, DB unit datasets. Here is the description. What does it do? Because I need to have it in the documentation. And here are instructions. So instructions, I have instructions, and I will explain you later why it is so. So I have some role. I would like to ChatGPT to act as a test data generator, and his role is to generate test data by relational database structure in DB unit specific XML format. Yeah, and you should guess data types for each table column, because I don't want to provide you full schema. Yeah, and generate random data of appropriate data type. I will provide several table structures, and you will reply only with XML dataset and nothing else. Do not write any explanations or comments. I will quickly switch to my presentation. What we have here, actually, we have here a special format. So, for example, we have persona. Why persona so powerful? Because when you try to explain somebody how it should behave, usually it's much easier to say behave like senior developer, and everybody understands what is senior developer, yeah, or behave like dog, like QA engineer, like experienced marketing guy, and so on, so on. So it means that in this format, it's much easier to explain our expectations. Then we have a context. Context is what is this task about? Yeah, what are the constraints and so on. Then we have task itself. So for us, it's generation of the data sets. Here it's a writing of email. Then we have a format, in what format we would like to have, and we have tone and probably some examples. We don't need examples because our task is quite easy, and ChatGPT could understand it. And tone is not needed because it's not a text output. I mean, it's not a text that we will publish somewhere or send to somebody. So it means that we need persona, we need a context, we need a task, we need a format. This is the basics. And I have here for you some cheat sheet. For quick understanding how to fill each part, yeah, and what not to do. For example, if we say about user persona, then we need to be concrete. Who is this user persona? For example, is software engineer, yeah, but it's not a user, yeah. Or here, act as a helpful AI. it's like useless because it's clear. Yeah, much better is act as a sensitive elderly psychotherapist. It's like very, very concrete expectations. And again, output format, you could say, what is it? It must be Python code, Java code, JSON, number, table, or something. This is the most powerful part because you could remove a lot of fantasies and a lot of boilerplate with this direct communication of your format. So let's see how it works. And you see here that I could put some capabilities. I will say some words about it a little bit later, and upload files. And I will also say some words about it later. Let's see how it works in practice. So when I have this GPT, I could switch to it, yeah, and do something. And I have already past example. So where is it? Here. So you see that now icon of my DB unit dataset is used, and I say, okay, my data structure is book and author. I have two tables, and I get just XML. No explanations, no comments, just XML. And you see how beautiful is it? First of all data types are automatically understood by ChatGPT. So for example, ISBN. Or, for example, title of the book. So it's not just a title like you always put, like AAA or test or something, yeah? And this is very promising. And the same situation with relational linkage, yeah? You see here author ID, and this author ID is author ID from here. So amazing. Another more complicated example, I have 4 tables, yeah, and in these 4 tables I have a lot of data, and all this data again is understood. So for example, it's a code, yeah, or for example passport num, or date from, date to, and they are not intersecting. So I mean that it starts from December 1 and December 5. Amazing work, yeah. And this is just a repeatable stuff, reusable, repeatable stuff. I just generate, copy, go, generate, copy, go. Okay, because I'm at the level 0. Some more words on the slide. So first of all, to extend data that's available for my model, I could use different options. One of options is very popular is retrieval augment generation. It means that I take my data, it could be anything, yeah, and I extract this data, make chunks from this data, build embeddings in the same way as embeddings are done in my ChatGPT, and store them into the vector database. And then when I would like to go for a query, I first of all take my query, build the same embedding, go to vector database, find relevant data, and provide this relevant data to my LLM. And then all responses from LLM based not only on my query, but also on my relevant data. And this is available now in the GPTs. So now I could go, but nobody knows how it works. I mean, this is black box. Remember, this is black box and for general purpose. I have additional GPT, it named API conversations. I will show you how it works. So I have here a couple of files. So I took my real, completely real conventions, API conventions, and put it there. So I didn't take some parts of them. I just say, okay, this is my PDF versions of my conventions. Let's put it here. And I put Code Entrepreneur because if I would like to download part of these files, it will be available for me. Yeah? And important part now, I could ask questions based on this data. I have concrete instructions that you behave as an API conventions knowledge base in the software development team. You must rely only on the provided knowledge. If something is missed in the team API conventions, then answer it's not regulated by conventions. So very simple instructions. So if it's regulated, answer how it's regulated. If not, then say, okay, it's not regulated. But again, I didn't stop it from fantasies. Because I don't say something about format, for example, don't generate any other proposals. Yeah, understand? This is very limiting factor could be for ChatGPT. But we didn't do so. And what we have, for example, how Kafka events should be structured. And here is Kafka events as a part of extended API, REST API in asynchronous scenarios should be structured according to the following key principles. And I have the whole information regarding this. And it's combined from different parts of my conventions, because here is a part from asynchronous scenarios, and here is a part about Kafka event streams, naming rules and so on. I could say, okay, how deduplication should be implemented. And it say, okay, deduplication Kafka events is not specifically regulated in these conventions in my knowledge source. This is the key. Yeah? So I understand that it's not regulated. And then, because I didn't stop this fantasy, what I have additional proposal. So it's a fantasy how it's regulated in common strategies used in deduplication in Kafka. And I have some common information from ChatGPT, initial model, not from my knowledge. Yeah? You need to understand that this is a very powerful, if you would like to not implement your RAG, but you would like to have some small piece of data, not runtime changing data, so it's like quite a stable data, and you would like to build something based on this data. And of course, this data, they have flag. If you want this data to be used by our engineers, I will switch it off, but who knows, yeah? Nobody knows. What is also interesting, there is another part of the story, sections, and you see here that if we go to ChatGPT's, you see here that we have actions. Where is it? Yeah, actions. And you see create new action. So you could, for example, take weather and you have open API. Yeah, okay. And it will be actions. You see available actions. For example, get current weather, get by this path and so on. Why it is needed? So what is the purpose of these actions? With these actions, you could build one more pattern. I will not go deeper in this pattern, but it's a React pattern. So it means that when you give some task to ChatGPT to build reasoning chain, it will use tools available to go and perform additional to bring additional knowledge from the environment. So it means that, for example, if I have API for weather, I will understand that this is a time to use this API. I go to the environment, take this weather results and put it into my reasoning chain. And it means that it's like dynamic reasoning. So it's not based only on the information hidden in the model, yeah, but it's based on the information plus information from environment. And this is very important because in this case, we could, for example, run code somewhere, for example, Python code somewhere. We could, for example, get some data from some storage. We could, for example, execute some steps outside, for example, close task, create task, and so on. So this is a very powerful technique. And this is very powerful technique for our third level, because on the third level, we will be able, with this technique, build a team, yeah, where everybody do some part of the job. I don't have so much time remaining. I will try to speed up. So the next level is unit test. So it's again task from the level 1, and what we are going to do, we are going to cover our code with a unit test. And usually on the demos you could see these examples like, okay, we have a code and let's build a unit test for this code.
Yeah. Mikalai, we need to stop a little bit your so powerful presentation because we have also some other speakers. And before we stop, I just want to ask you one short, tiny, but I think really important question because it could be like a summarize of your presentation. Can you tell us in percentages how big is your times that you saved when you start to use ChatGPT now? I mean, how it increase your productivity?
You know, it's very interesting question because in some tasks it's 10 times less I spent on particular tasks. I provided one example with concrete tasks that I could just click and take results. Usually it took, for example, half an hour for me to build such data set, yeah, and now I spent less than a minute. So you see, it's 30 times less time, yeah. In some cases, I have already built models that could build a code on the level 2 that could like save me a day. So I could finish a task in an hour or half an hour that previously I spent 1 day. So, but you need some preparation. You need to understand what you have in hands, and you need to build reusable commands, reusable actors, and you could build chains of these actors later with modern technologies like Autogen. And I have it in the presentation.
Yeah, yes, it was, and it's gonna be available after this this meeting, yeah, and probably on the next our follow-up emails. So thank you, Mikalai, for your presentation. Thanks for your team that you bring with you today, Mr. Panda and Mr. Penguin, and we will meet. Yeah, you can add a couple of words from your side.
Yeah. I would
Wanna?
just say that don't worry that you missed the last part. Yeah, because the last part you could find all links in the presentation, and you could go through these examples. And probably this is a good topic for the next talk to continue.